Hello. So it's a weekend chat. It's Sunday. Happy Sunday, Lord's Day of Resurrection, and we're going to have Mass tonight. Our pilgrim group. This is a report from Amman, Jordan. I'm at the campus of the Jordan University. I think they call it. It might be University of Jordan, but I think it's JU, Jordan University. So, yeah, I didn't want to get in the middle of too many folks, but you might get a little sense of the young people here and the diversity. Some with more Western wear, some with a little more, Arab wear, traditional Arab wear. But so I just thought maybe people would like to hear how we're doing with the news. This is going to be sleep-in day for me, and I just kind of rolled over in bed at 7 a.m. We're 8 hours ahead of you here, and U.S. enters the war. So the big bunker bombs. So that wasn't good news from my point of view in general, but also for our pilgrims. I thought, if we can just kind of leave the country before things escalate. However, things are looking good. I talked to the U.S. Embassy today. I called them on the phone, and they said it's just still level 2. Use caution as far as travel. Our flight out of Amman is scheduled for tomorrow early afternoon. I don't think I mentioned last chat. It was really lovely for me to hear all the pilgrims talk about their experiences from the Dead Sea. We were still in Israel our last day. We've been in Jordan since then. But so our plan is we'll have our farewell dinner tonight in town at a nice restaurant. We'll go to Mass right before at a local parish, which will be good. And then we will, God willing, inshallah, as they say here, get on a Royal Jordanian plane. Most of the other airlines are not flying out of Amman, but Royal Jordanian is. I was frantically on the phone with our travel agent. I think she's in Chicago, and I think I took her whole work day trying to work out flight plans, because we would try, everybody's like, go to Cairo, and then fly from Cairo to Frankfurt. We got to get to Frankfurt because that's our flight home, and it's really, I have to say, it was really stressful. I've never felt personally unsafe, and I think that's true for the whole group, as you might have heard in the last chat. But the travel logistics can be daunting when flights cancel and those things. So if this flight would cancel tomorrow, I'd really feel to be in a pickle. And yet, I gotta say, our pilgrims are lovely people. They came as lovely people. I think we've all been a little tested in our ability to trust in God's care, and that God will lead us. And that even when things don't go according to our plan, that's okay. We're here to serve God. And last night we had a really wonderful debriefing. I got to tell you about our travel plans too, but let me just, about our debriefing and people's highlights. And the highlights were not like I touched this place, or I visited this place, or I saw where this happened. And they were more about people that they met, their experiences with each other, but with other people that we met along the way. I thought it was really kind of a great thing. So people are having wonderful spiritual experiences here on the pilgrimage, which is why we came, and we feel safe. And so we appreciate your prayers for safe passage. But more than anything, pray for peace. My gosh, it's just really I don't know. It just that headline just. Talk a little bit about that later, I guess. It might be the call to prayer. I don't know this is the call to prayer. This is awesome. So you get to hear that. The mosque is just up the street here. This will be about 5 minutes. It happens 5 times a day. People are called to prayer. I don't know if you can still hear me or not, but I'll get a little closer. So as you can see, a lot of people, the more observance, would maybe go to the mosque now and pray, but that's not what everybody does. Life is kind of going on as normal here. I'll just tell you our flight plan. So tomorrow, late morning, we'll leave the hotel and go to the airport, and we're going to catch a flight to Cyprus, a big island off the coast of Lebanon and Syria, Turkey. And then a couple hours, then we'll fly into Athens. We'll get there at about 10:45 at night, local time. And then we will spend the night in the airport. We were gonna get a hotel. That was the other great stress. Our agent said, well, you need to get a hotel. So I'm like, can you book it for us? And she did. And then I looked at our flights, and we get into Athens at 10:45. We got to get our luggage, go through customs, da-da-da-da. And if we're out by midnight, that'd be something. And then our next day's flight is at 6 a.m. So to get a shuttle and go 20 miles away to an airport or something, instead of a 20-mile trip. Anyway, I thought, oh. So we had already paid for that, though, because she booked it. And so these are the things that keep you up when you're trying to manage a tour. But people have been great, and they were great. The policy of the hotel was no refunds if you book within 3 days or something. But with the help of some pilgrims, said, come on, you just got to call them. So we called them, and they gave us a refund. So that saved us a lot of money. So it was good. So then we'll overnight in the airport, try to get some hours sleeping on our suitcases. And then in the morning, we'll fly to Frankfurt, Germany. And then, inshallah, God willing, the next flight is to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And that'll be great. So it's been really good to be here, but it'll be good to be in Minnesota and Wisconsin soon. What else we got here? I think Parish News, just kind of read your bulletin, go to our website. I know the big things are, I'm forgetting the dates. Is it July 6th or something? Is it the Express game, I think? July 21st is something, Vacation Bible School. And July 12th is that pilgrimage, this Saturday. We're gonna walk to Sacred Heart Church, or people can meet us there for some ice cream and some prayer. Pilgrimage of Hope. So anyway, we're feeling okay. I talked to the embassy today. There's all these levels of travel. Level 1 is just do whatever you want, don't have any worries. Level 2 is use caution, but fine. Level 3 is you probably shouldn't go there, and level 4 is get out of there. And it's level 2 here. So the embassy just said, you guys are safe, and you can never predict, so use caution. But we don't control the flights. I think in Israel now, the embassy's trying to gather Americans and evacuate them in different ways. But we're in Jordan. Jordan's a nice, peaceful, beautiful place. We met some students here yesterday, and we're talking to them. They were foreign language. One was going to be an engineer, but they're all taking foreign language classes. And one was studying Korean, one was studying Russian, one was studying French. There's like 5 guys. They're really interesting fellas. And we were happy to chat with them for a little bit, and they seem to be happy to chat with us. I'm having a little wobbliness with my camera stand here. So let's see, what do we got? So that's the basic update. I was saying our pilgrimage, we had our people often cry, and I did too on our pilgrimage. And we're talking about what is the grace of the tears? What are the tears are all about when you visit a holy site or something and you cry? And I'm going to keep trying to plumb this, but one people said it's just when your heart is open. One person said it's just when your heart gets open and you cry. She said it was that. One said it was joy. Swimming in the Sea of Galilee. It's like I'm in these waters. I think if you come into this, then Jesus means so much to you, and then suddenly you're swimming in the Sea of Galilee, and you know that's what he did. That's where he was. He saw what you see. It's a little bit overwhelming. So it depends a lot on what you bring to it, right? Cyril said something great. He said, I cried so much at the tomb of Christ because it took so much effort to get there in convincing police and our tour guides. I mentioned that last time. And he said it's like all this effort that when we finally got in that church and we sat at the tomb of Christ, it was like, after all the struggle, it's like we were in heaven for an hour. And then the tears just flowed from that. My main, I guess I may have mentioned this, but my main thing was when we left that tomb, that's when I cried the most. And it wasn't because of the sight. it was because the love and effort that our tour guides had in trying to get us in there, and how difficult that was, because the whole thing was sequestered off to visitors, the church, the gate, everything. So, when you're loved, when there's the things of God, God's life is in us, and when that's touched, I think we cry. God is love, and so when we experience love, especially when we experience, like I think what I saw, that these people sacrificed for us. They took chances. They were assertive in the face of resistance for us, that we might have a good experience here, and that's the Jesus model, right? Sacrificial love, giving of yourself for the good of others, and when we receive that and we take that to heart, we cry, or we should, I think. And then to become like that ourselves, that's kind of the goal of the whole Christian life, I guess. And we heard some of that from our pilgrims too. Kayla was saying, I just want to be, what I'm taking back with me is this desire that people have a good experience of church, and then I can be a vehicle, I can be a vessel, I can, she's got kids growing up, and it's like the church seems to be dwindling and losing members, and I don't want it to, because the church is a good thing, and I want to be a vehicle to help make the church strong, So that was a conviction that grew in her heart during these times of this time of pilgrimage. I'll give a whole report on that later, but last night I was having some water on the pool, the patio, and they're just so gracious, the hospitality folks. And the guy asked if I wanted some tea, and I said I can't have caffeine, and he brought me a cup of chamomile tea, and so I was just doing that, listening to some Arabic music and writing in my journal. And this other guy came by who was a dining room helper, and we're on good terms. They've been very kind to us, and I think we're good guests. And he just started talking about, this was before the news of the war escalating and the U.S. involvement. He said, what do you think? What do you think about the U.S. and the government and the war? And I said a few things, then he told me what he thought. It was just he's very well educated on things. I'm like, boy, you get some really good information, we must have talked, mostly him, for at least a half hour. And one of the things that I remember most was, I think what really, really hurts a lot of the Arab people is seeing the suffering in Gaza. And even with all this that's going on with Iran, the Gaza violence and death and killing just goes on unabated. And I still don't know why people are getting shot when I don't get the cause and effect. People come to get food from these feeding stations in Gaza, and then 20 of them are shot and killed. I just don't understand what's going on. And so people feel the need to choose between feeding themselves and staying safe from bullets. But every day, it's just more killing. And so anyway, this guy was saying, an Iranian missile hits, I'll show you a little bit. Some of our friends there taking a picture of the beautiful flowers. Iranian missile hits an Israeli hospital, and it's huge news, and everybody's upset. And how many times does that happen in Gaza? Every day, every week, there's something like that. And when it gets to the point that we're only affected, we only grieve when people whom we perceive are on our side are hurt, and we don't grieve when other people that are unknown or maybe not on our side are hurt and killed. There's something wrong with that picture from a religious point of view. Had a conversation with Frederic, who directed my sabbatical some time ago, and he was saying that, he said the church just needs to stand for truth. When people's dignity is threatened, when they're hurt, when they're killed, people really need to say that's wrong, and so it's wrong. The popes have, I don't know where Pope Leo is with all this. He's a little, not him, but the guy I was talking to said he's a little worried that maybe religious leaders just kind of say things more that are platitudes, right? That we need to have dialogue. Violence is bad and it's wrong, and we need to have dialogue. And I'm not sure what else you're supposed to do exactly, but John Paul II said war is a defeat for everybody. War, never again, never again. Pope Francis said war is a defeat forever. War, never again, again. I'm sure Pope Leo will join that chorus as well. So I guess I challenge myself. I challenge all of you to grieve the death of anybody in the world. Every person, someone made in God's image. I was appalled. I read, it's not a game, right? When the winds of war start blowing, it can kind of activate our adrenaline. Let's do this, or let's win. Let's and it's not as easy, and we can get pumped up about it, And I feel that. You feel that. I wish it would just stay in the football stadium and not in the world. We could use sports as a catharsis to get that urge to win and defeat the enemy out of our system. It's not as easy to get hyped up and excited about peace and sympathy for victims and feeding the hungry and showing mercy and being forgiveness. That doesn't give us adrenaline, but it should give us really what we most thirst for, which is communion with God, because God is love and God is mercy and God is forgiveness. And God weeps for those who suffer, victims of war, victims of famine, victims of abuse in any way. So I'm rambling a little bit here, but I really was shocked at the headlines this morning. We pray for peace. I hope you pray for our safe passage home, but first pray for peace. Pray for humanity to have sympathy for everybody who's hurting, right? And I understand there's complexity in geopolitics and all that, but it's not a game. It's real, and people hurt, and we're sorry for that, any role that we have in that. Okay, all right. Loving God in this place, this country of peace. It's a nice country. They welcome the Christians. The Muslim staff at our hotel was so gracious in providing a place for us to have Mass, and so supportive. If we could all be as tolerant and encouraging of one another, that would be so good. So loving God, we ask you to calm hearts that seek vengeance, calm hearts that have violent intent, and help in us grow a desire for peace, to love one another, to find the way to justice. There's other ways of creating a just world than killing people. We ask you to give us the creativity and the knowledge and the spirit of cooperation to do that. Bless your people this day. Okay, peace all you guys. See you later. Bye-bye.